I think poets would be interested. I mean, I've had some of my poems set to music, but I mean, anybody who ever asked me, I say, yeah, sure, why not? Of course. Some Finnish jazz musicians set a poem to music, and recently some classical composer wrote to me from Indiana University. He wanted to set a poem. I said, of course, yeah, totally, I'd be happy to. Popular music, though, is just its own whole world. I think the popular musicians imagine themselves to be great writers, which is probably not true, but they imagine that, and that's what they're interested in conveying. The only case I know of is this guy named Win Cooper. Do you know Win? I think Win lives in Vermont. What's her name? Sheryl Crow. Yeah. Sheryl Crow's big hit, All I Want to Do Is Have Some Fun. Well, apparently they were in the studio recording that in LA, and they had that song, but they had the refrain, All I Want to Do Is Have Some Fun, but they didn't have a verse. And so they sent somebody across the street to a bookstore to buy some books of poetry. And they bought like 6 or 8 books of poetry, and they paged through, and they found this one poem that they liked by Win Cooper, which is the kind of story interpolated that is the verse about a guy at a bar peeling the label off his Budweiser. And that was just a poem not related to having fun or anything. And they said, let's use this. So they just used that, and they wrote Win Cooper, and he made a ton of money off of it for a poet. But that was like, I guess that's like literally if they were so stuck in the studio recording the song, they didn't have things. Only then would they think, maybe the poets have something to offer. So I just think it's, obviously they are, come from the same place. And it's most obvious in rap. I mean, rap is where the songwriting aspires to more of what we consider poetry. I mean, rock and roll, which is the music I kind of listen to most, I do not listen to it for the lyrics. Bob Dylan winning the Nobel Prize, interesting. But it was really, as they said, a Nobel Prize for songwriting, which they had never acknowledged was a part of the literary genre before, but they suddenly said, well, it's for songwriting. Good. I mean, that's why, a lot of poets got up in arms. Bob Dylan, he's not a great poet, he's a songwriter. Like, they said it's for songwriting. So that's cool.